What's going on? It's Joe with True Warrior Ascension, and I want to share with you today how my tremendous ability as a high school tennis player has helped me to stay consistent with my business today. Now on the court, I was decent, subpar at best. My actual talent was being able to get Miss Goldberg, our coach, to the point where she wanted to strangle me every single day. I would kind of listen to the things she wanted me to do on the court. She was always giving out bagels. I was always taking more than I was supposed to. So she was constantly reminding me of the team motto. Do it right now. Now, I'm horrible at prioritizing. Most weaves have an easier time staying on track than I do. But after creating a time budget and adding in the team motto, I've been able to finally figure it out nearly 12 years later. I know, it took me long enough, right? So these two concepts I've turned into the Takeover, which is a master list of things that I need to do, whether it be for business or just in life. Now the time budget is a concept semi-adopted from Dave Ramsey. He has a financial budget, and all it says really is you take every conceivable dollar that you think you'll make in a month and you allocate it before you actually earn it. So if you like to travel, you put money aside for travel. We all know every 4 to 6 months, something's going to come up with the car, a flat tire, maybe, obviously the average maintenance, the oil changes. So you put money aside so those things don't seem like emergencies when they arise. Now, I've seen great success with that, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later at some point. But I thought it could be effective with time as well. And I'm not talking about some crazy time log that you have to stick to. We all know things come up. But it helps to guide me into the right direction for things that I've kind of lost sight of, and it helps me set a foundation for things that I know will come up. Now next, that team motto, do it right now, has finally helped me to prioritize those things. So the time budget helps you find the slot for it. The motto helps me figure out what's most important and what do I need to attack next. So we start at the top of the motto, but at the bottom of the list with the do-its. These are the things that are convenient. You do them at your own pace. If you have a topic that you want to go over, you want to research, that'll fall into this category. Any recipes for those meal prep Sundays, these fall into the category. Or any ongoing project that does not have a deadline would fall into this category. Things here are not urgent and they're not important. Now we move up the list to the do it rights. These are things that are crucial. They usually have a deadline, but it's in the distance. So a term paper that's due in a few months, setting up an automatic bill pay, or just getting ready for a launch. So you're getting your logo and your website ready, you're managing that project and getting ready for that deadline. To be honest, this is where most of us lose sight. These are things that we don't initially attack because of that deadline in the distance. But from my experience, this is where much of the progress will take place. And if you develop a good time budget, being able to attack these things here will be much easier. Now, the things in this category are usually very important, but they don't seem urgent until that deadline in the distance becomes a deadline in the present. And that's when they move into do it right now. These are things we know what they are. They are very critical. They seem like an emergency. They're both important and urgent. A flat tire that comes up. You forgot to do that automatic bill pay and you missed the bill, so your lights are off. Or your girlfriend's birthday is tonight. You're a couple hours away from the party and you do not have a gift. Okay, so maybe that last one is a slight stretch. But you know these things when you see them, and you have to attack them right away because that deadline is typically within 48 hours or just in a few days, and something needs to happen and happen fast. So when I've set aside time to take over the world, I start with the do it right nows, move down to the do it rights, and then when I have some time, I eventually hit those do its. It helps maintain a really, really good flow. So we all know, or we know that prioritizing and staying consistent with fitness for me is much easier than stuff like this. This is a brand new realm for me. right? So we have to try and maintain that consistency. But, it's a process. The key factor here is that I am better than I was yesterday, and the goal is to be better tomorrow. People, sometimes with the comments or feedback I get, man, you seem to jump into these things and take off, and that's inaccurate. I start in the crawl phase just like everyone else, and it takes some time, and I have to dedicate that time to remain more consistent. But hey, next I'll be on to the walking phase, and then so on and so forth, right? So if you haven't created a list like this, I challenge you to give it a shot. I'm sure Miss Goldberg would love to have taught us both something. But we're out here, we're trying to chase our memories. And things like this will help us get closer to those goals and ambitions that we have. Give it a shot, test it, become more consistent, be able to prioritize your time better, and you'll see, inch by inch, you are going to get closer. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.